Hi guys, so it is time to start reviewing for your midterm. As a reminder, your midterm is worth 20% of your quarter grade, so it's going to be really important that we actually do our best and are paying attention and starting to review for this test. So rather than make you take these relooping quizzes, what I'm going to do is go over these questions with you. Now, these relooping quizzes that we're going over are just a review of the units that we've done so far. So for a midterm, we'll have units 1 through 3 on there. And rather than make you do them, I'm going to review some of the questions, turn it into an ed puzzle, and you guys will be able to review and answer them that way. These will not be all of the questions that are going to show up on both your practice midterm and your midterm, but they will be some of them. So if you watch these and answer these questions, you will be able to be ahead of the game, right? So this is half the battle right here, and it's also a really good review. So please follow along, review with me, and then answer the questions as we go through. All right, so question 1 is in reference to the hierarchy of the universe. When we say hierarchy, we're talking about putting these bodies in order from largest to smallest or smallest to largest, depending on what we do. And if we remember to our notebook, this is where we did that green triangle where we had the universe on the bottom, and then we put everything that's inside of the universe from largest to smallest on the top. So this is from Unit 1 Astronomy. And this question is asking us which diagram shows the correct relationship between these 4 regions. So it says if one symbol is within another symbol, that means it is part of or included in that symbol. So we know off the bat that the universe is going to be the largest. Okay, so the universe is going to be the largest. So we need to find the answer that has the rectangle on the outside. All right, so we can go ahead and eliminate a couple of these. All right, so these have this kind of, what is this called, like trapezoidal, I don't think it's a trapezoid, a rhombus shape. I think it's a rhombus. Haven't been to math in a while, guys. So this rhombus shape, this is not going to be correct because we know that the universe is the largest, so the universe needs to be on the outside. So we have narrowed it down to these 2 answers right here. So then our other choices are the Earth, the galaxy, and the solar system. Well, we need to be able to classify these based on what's largest down to the smallest, okay? Well, we know that our planet Earth revolves around our sun, which is a part of our solar system, okay? So the planet Earth is going to be the smallest. Earth is within the solar system, and then the solar system is within the galaxy, okay? So that means that our galaxy will be the next largest in reference to the universe. So we want to do universe first, then our next largest would be our galaxy, then our solar system, and then our Earth. So take a minute to pause and choose whether A or B would be the correct answer here. So remember, we need to go universe, galaxy, solar system, planet, which is Earth. So we're going to choose A because the rhombus goes with the galaxy, which is the next largest, then the solar system, which is this oval shape, and then the Earth is within that. Okay? Perfect. All right, question 2 says, one theory states that by the year 14,000, the axis of Earth will point toward the star Vega. This is due to the very slow wobble of the axis of Earth. Which change is most likely to occur because of the movement of this axis? Okay, well, this is telling us that our Earth is going to be pointing towards a new star. And this is because the Earth is slightly wobbling. So remember the movement of the axis. So the change in the star is called a precession. And then the wobble of the Earth on its axis back and forth is called nutation. So this says which change is most likely to occur because of the movement of the axis. So it's asking what's most likely to occur because of the wobble of the planet. Sorry about that, guys. I am at school and there's a bell. So remember that the tilt of our axis, it determines the seasons, right? So the tilt of the Earth on the axis determines the seasons as our planet revolves around the sun. So if our northern hemisphere is tilted towards the sun, it's going to be summer. And if we're tilted away from the sun, it's going to be winter. So this wobbling of Earth on its axis will change the tilt just a little bit. Not much, but a little bit. And it will change it in such a way that there's more of a dramatic tilt towards the sun and a little bit more of a dramatic tilt away from the sun. Not a lot, not enough to disrupt us enough that it hurts us, but it is enough to change the seasons slightly. All right, so based on what we know about that, what answer do we think that we're going to choose here? Pause for a minute, read them over, and make your selection. All right, so we should have chosen seasons will become more severe. Summer is hotter, winter is colder, because again, that nutation is the wobble of the Earth on its axis. It's just the movement back and forth, making it more prominently tilted either towards or away from the sun, meaning that we could have more intense summers or colder winters. Okay? Question 3 is one that was kind of difficult. It says, which describes the difference between nuclear fission and nuclear fusion? If we remember, fission and fusion are two different ways that we get energy, okay? One of them is natural and occurs within the stars, and one of them is man-made. It powers our nuclear weapons and also our nuclear power plants. So fission is the splitting of an atom, and fusion is the coming together. So fusion means two atoms are coming together. Now, fusion happens in the sun, okay? So the sun is a star, and it's where the radiant energy comes from, okay? And then fission, on the other hand, is man-made, and it powers our nuclear power plants and our weapons. So knowing that, what we just reviewed, pause and choose which answer you would select for this one. So we should have chosen C. Nuclear fission produces energy in nuclear power plants. Fission is man-made. And then fusion produces the energy in the stars like the sun. So fusion is coming together to form heavier elements. It produces that radiant energy that comes to the planet and then provides us with energy that we need for survival. Okay. And again, sorry about the bells, guys. So question 4 says, with respect to one another, galaxies have found to be, and then it gives us the different directions in which the galaxies are moving. We know from the Big Bang Theory, or that we went over in the very beginning of astronomy, we know that the universe started expanding and it hasn't stopped since. So ever since the beginning of the universe, our universe and space have all been moving outward. So outward in different directions, and we are still moving. So knowing that the universe is expanding, it should make sense for our galaxies to be moving in a certain direction in relation to each other, right? So think of expanding. Think of that experiment we did where I drew the dots on the balloon, and then when I blew the balloon up, those dots moved either away from each other or towards each other. So give that a thought, pause, and make your selection for question 4. So for this one, we should have chosen moving further apart. So we know that the universe is expanding, and as the universe expands, galaxies do start to move away from each other. And as they move away from each other, that's when we get that concept of the red shift. So if we were to take a picture of the galaxies in the night sky, they have a red tint to them because they are moving away and their wavelength of light is shifted towards the red end of the spectrum, so we observe them as being red. So the red shift is just evidence that the galaxies are moving further apart and away from each other. And then finally, question 5 says, what is the process called when plants use the sun's rays to create food and oxygen? So there was one process we learned about that plants do, and it's when they take in water, sunlight, carbon dioxide, and then they make their food. So pause, you might need to go back into your notes for this one, but it's probably something you're aware of from middle school. Okay, so we should have chosen photosynthesis. So photosynthesis is the process of plants taking up radiant energy from the sun along with carbon dioxide and water and then producing their own food. Okay, and this is just an example of why solar radiation is so important to the planet, because in turn it gives us food, because we can't make our own food. We have to eat the plants that make their food, that get their food from the energy from the sun. So without energy from the sun, we would not be able to live. All right, so let's submit this and see how we did. Oh, I think it's glitching a little bit. It is, but we got a 5 out of 5, so all good. All right, so again, this is a review of 5 of those questions that you're going to see both on your practice midterm and your midterm. So if you have reviewed this video and you followed along, then you should be in pretty good shape to move forward and to make those formal grades. If you have any questions, let me know, and if not, you can move on to the next review video.